Okay, the rain is gone and the sun is shining. We're going to go down here and show you what I'm going to be working on. Let's get this golf cart going. Hold on, Zen. Hold on. Whoa! He doesn't like the golf cart too much. He gets too close to it and gets a little nervous, but we're going to go down here. And this is as far as we're going. And you're asking, like, why did you drive the golf cart down there? Well, all my tools are in it, for one thing. And I would drive down. I'm going to that campsite right over there, but I would drive down to the campsite across that path. But my boss got on to me at the first of the season whenever I was in the upper loop. And I drove off the path across the gravel to the bathrooms. And when the Forest Service came to check things and inspect, they go like, keep your golf cart on the pavement. The Forest Service didn't want you driving off the pavement. Afraid someone else would do it also. And I told them, I said, well, who else out here has a golf cart? And then I said, okay. So anyway, we're going to keep the golf cart on the pavement or some sort of gravel like this because we don't want people to drive their golf carts when they bring them to the lake down to the campsite. So we're going to walk down here. Well, this is what I'm going to work on. Since it's kind of slow with people coming in and out, I told myself this year I'm going to try to work on these. There's 3 tent sites back here that have been here for generations and they're in sad shape. These 3 are slated to be replaced. They said this year, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. And the way things are going, it may not happen for a while. So here's my plan. I'll show you all 3 real quick. Let me hook Zen up to this number 27 pole. That keeps him stationary so he didn't wander off. Like I mentioned, these were campsites from, who knows how long ago. And one thing I'm going to do is this. It's hard to see in the picture, but this was supposed to be level. That log is somewhat level to the dirt, and it's not. This was an original campsite because there's the rocks down here, and then here's the angle, the corner. So this was an actual tent site at one point, but from this angle you can see that it's kind of washed out over the last 30, 40 years, and all that dirt has unleveled the tent area, which people don't have a place to put their tent, and it comes down here and it fills up where Zen's at. You can see all the dirt just piled on the concrete, and it just floods. And then when you get a decent rain or pretty good rain, it runs across all this pavement, this concrete. It just makes a big muddy mess. So I'm going to work on that, and we're going to show you the other 2. They're similar, not quite. One of them is going to be a little harder to do, but like I said, these are supposed to be changed, but I'm not going to spend any money of the company's money, the Forest Service money, my money on upgrading. This is all going to be my labor. Well, I guess they will have labor from me being here, but look at this one. You can see where it was, many, many years ago. And this is number 28, what's left of those numbers. So my plan for this one is to also come in here, and this is going to be a little more challenge because it's more dirt. But there's a tent site there. You see a little flat spot. There's a tent site behind that bush, somewhat of a flat spot. And there's also a tent site above that rock wall that they could be. But there's no tent site down here with the picnic table fire ring. And same way, last year when it rained, this water come down here, and this whole thing was just about a half to 1 inch of mud, and people were stepping in it and just made the biggest mess. All their shoes were muddy, their tents were muddy, and everything was bad. So this is the 3rd one. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna come in and try to fill in a little bit of this area here. I might try to work something here. You can see the steps they put in many years ago. I may continue that board like a log across and build it up, because that's one heck of a step off. When you drop off that thing, you're going to break something. And same way over here. All this dirt here comes down and just runs across the tent site. And let's see, where's the tent pad for this one? Oh, there's a tent pad up there behind those rocks. Or they can, some people will put a tent pad right here, put a tent right there, which works. And then sometimes they will go back here to the old sites. There used to be 3 more sites back here that have been abandoned. Back there somewhere you can put up a tent, or a small one right here, or right over there. So, you know, we'll see. And that's, that one over there has got the rock wall around it too. Like they, you know, lava rocks they made back in the, who knows, like I said, maybe in the 30s. So that was kind of a tent site. And then you can see the rock wall down here, and there's another section down there that I think was an old tent site. It's got, actually got like a fire pit in it and some rock walls. So this is all could be real pretty back here, but they won't develop this. This is off their radar for remodeling next time. But look at the views. Just think, having a tent sit right here and walking out. Oh, you know, and your picnic table's right there. Look at the views. I mean, that's what these are worth it. And the plan, the Forest Service plan, is to come in and redo the 3 of them and just keep 3, not go back to 5 or 6 like they used to. They want to move this one up there. There's a big flat spot up on, there's an old road or something they cut in there. So they want to move this one up there, move this one, get rid of that one completely, and move it kind of in this area and redo it. And then the first one I'm at, they want to basically work around it also, just kind of move it back up the hill a ways and make a dedicated tent pad. But yeah, these are pretty well worn. Like I said, these have a pretty good step off down to them, and they just need to do some work. And there is the pathway. And when the Forest Service does it, they'll come in and put in a dedicated 3-foot or 4-foot wide path, gravel path, that they can use. And here's, I'm going to do the same thing down here. This, oh, I'm about to fall myself. See the big erosion problem they had and that step off? That's a long way down. So I'm going to try to, at some point, build a little retaining section through here. You can see the old rocks that used to be here. There's a rock there, there's a rock over there, there's one over, a couple, 3 over here. So there was probably a wall at one time, but it has been deteriorated. But that's a pretty good step up, and just fill this in, make it look decent. But the first step is to work on this. And what I have to do first is to remove these that I just kind of temporarily threw in there, dig out a trench, place some more lava rock, which they're all lava rocks all over the place out here, so it's no problem to find lava rock. I mean, there's a bunch of pieces right over there. And build a wall of some sort, and then backfill it with the dirt from up there. That I'm going to dig a trench and also kind of level that out, and then dig out these grass and make this kind of a little smoother. And then all the dirt down here that piles up, and push it back behind that to level that. So the people have an actual tent pad, you know, place to put their tent. You can put a tent now if you had like a 1-person tent. That's about it. So what a lot of people do when they're at this one site is over here in the aspen trees. You can see there in the very middle there, there's a decent sized flat spot, and that's where they'll put the tents at. That was an old picnic area. Had tables and chairs, I mean benches, and something else. I don't know, but there's a lot of old concrete pads there with rebar sticking out of them that's been bent over. But so that was some sort of dedicated picnic area, and so that's where that's why it's flat spot. But you can tell it's been a while because the aspen trees have taken over. So, you know, the aspens will live about 80 years. So these have probably been here, I would say probably a good 30 years, some of them, maybe 40. There's some big ones in here in the middle. So there's some good sized ones there. So they've been here a while, and that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not bringing the cart down the pathway because, like the boss said, don't want other people to bring the golf carts down here. And then I'm going to continue. Well, I'm going to start on redoing this, and we'll catch in every once in a while when I get something done. I'll bring the video back on and show you what's going on. But I got my companion, got a pretty lake view, I got a sunshiny day, a little bit of a breeze, and I've got what do we have for people this time? 2 campers, 3. I'm supposed to have about 7, so we'll see who shows up. I got 1, 2, 3 already here. Supposed to have about 4 more reservations come up, but we'll see what happens. And let me get to work. Well, there's phase 1 completed. The supervisor is watching over the parking lot. I didn't want to use that wood. I just thought I'd just go put boulders across there. And so it's going to work out pretty well because we're going to have a good, and I'll raise it up a good 8 or 9 inches. So that will help level out that pad area, and we'll see what happens. So, say what, lava rock is not as light as you think it would be. It's pretty heavy stuff, especially some big ones like that. So I'm going to work on the upper side now and kind of scrape that down and make a trough so the water will go off to the left and maybe drain away from the tent site and go back behind the camp area here. So that's my next step. What are you looking at, buddy? Hey, you supervising? Does it look good? You saw the car come in the parking lot, is what you saw. All right, we'll continue on. Put this in here. Also, all this grass that I'm digging out of that camp area, I'm going to use it up on the upper loop in the bare spots that I've got a lot of red dirt. I think this stuff should grow anywhere. Plus, it's got a big clump of dirt to start with, so we're going to try to cover up some red dirt. And there we have it. Well, somewhat, a lot better than what it was. Zen supervised. No one came in the parking lot without me knowing it, right? That's right. Here's what I came up with. I'm not quite done yet, but there's the rocks, and there's the dirt, kind of. I need to do a little more leveling back in the back because it had filled in so much over the years. I found tent stakes, the old metal tent stakes, and the old ginormous nails that had been there for years and years and years, about 3 inches under the dirt. So that tells you how much fill that is taken in there. So I need to do a little more cleaning, but it's getting about dinner time. I'm getting hungry. And then I cleaned all this out through here, dug it down all around the corner. I'll come back with some gravel probably, and just that way they won't have this 1 inch lip here to catch a foot on. And so I got a trench built around the back. I've got a trench built all the way around the drains this way. So a little more work on leveling, and I think we'll have it done. Once it packs down, it's a lot better than what it was. See, now you can put a tent there, right? Yep. So we still got to come back and work on this drop off. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I don't have any more dirt. I used all the dirt on I dug up over here. And I'm just about out of gravel that the construction guys left last year. So what may just stick with this one? We'll see. Maybe I can dig a little dirt out of the pile there and put up a couple of rocks and some, maybe that big chunk of wood that I've got up there now that I was going to use down here, and put it there and put some stakes behind it and make it a step, because that's a long way down. But we're going to end this video because I am hungry. I have some fajitas to reheat. I made fajitas last night. No sour cream, no picante sauce, just, they're okay. I even forgot to put cheese on them. I got cheese. Well, I'm just forgetting everything, aren't I? Don't forget the dog. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We're going to go up and have some fajitas, this time with cheese.